What's up guys? So in this video we're going to talk about a backpack that is the best of all backpacks. Just kidding. It's personal preference for everyone. But for me, someone who does a lot of seascape, landscape, I'm always on the move and I need a backpack that can replace my current backpack, which is this Case Logic. This Case Logic, I love this backpack because of the side accessibility to my gear. I can use this bag as a sling bag and then get to my gear if in case, say I'm in waist deep water, or if there's mud on the ground and I don't want to put my backpack on the ground, but my tripod is okay. I can sling the bag around, take my gear out from the side, and then, put it on my tripod. So I'm looking for an upgraded backpack to my Case Logic, which by the way has lasted almost a decade for me since I started my photography. But we're going to talk about a backpack like you saw in the description below, and that's going to be, you guessed it, the Vanguard Alta Sky 45D. You can probably see it right there. Now you can already tell that I've already opened this and I played with it already and I saw cool things about it. I had to do that in order to make this video. All right, so let me get this part out of the way first. I paid for this backpack with my own money. Vanguard did not send this to me whatsoever to do a review or anything like that. I went to Amazon. I paid like $177 or something like that for this backpack, and now it's mine. Now that pretty penny that you do pay, $177, is not inexpensive, but relative to those $500 backpacks, this is, right in the middle. And for what you pay, in this case, not always, but in this case, you get what you pay for. So let's start in the middle. The middle of the backpack is for multi-purpose. Now you could actually put a drone in the middle of the backpack and cover it with this, with your drone legs, sticking out. And I can put my drone in here, and there's straps in here that will allow me to strap the drone in on this flat surface of the backpack. If not, I can clip my drone on these what looks like paracord little slots here that will also secure the drone here, and then I can just easily cover it. On the bottom of this pocket here, there's Velcro that holds in. I took it out already and it's hard to put back in, but this is the cover. It's pretty standard for most backpacks these days for photography, where it adds some water resistance to the backpack in case you're caught in a storm. In Hawaii there's a lot of flash flood warnings and whatnot, so this is actually really good to have in case you need it to protect your gear from getting wet. But that goes in here, and when this does go in here, this area here gets a little bit thicker, but it's actually good because it adds an additional layer of protection and softness. You can take this back out and put it right back in, so it's not really a big deal. And the reason why I like that design better is a lot of other backpacks that I see will also put the rain cover in a compartment that will actually take up space. So it's like, do I use it to take up space and then I can't put an additional lens, or do I carry it with me in my pocket? It doesn't make sense. Vanguard designed it so that it can go right in here, not affecting any additional space that will take up in this backpack, which I really liked a lot. This pocket here is so you can hold a tripod and strap it in with these straps too, so it's multi-purpose. These clips can also go up here and that side as well, and then you pull this strap down to secure whatever you want in here, like your drone or anything else. But it's really easy to take out and put back in on the bottom part if you had more than one hand to do it. Now, going back to the tripod, you can put your tripod here. The reason why I like this design better than other backpack designs is this. Now, this backpack, like other backpacks, you can have your tripod in the middle of your backpack. The difference is most other backpacks, their design forces the tripod into the middle compartment of your backpack, which could potentially damage your gear if it's constantly rubbing and you're hiking and doing all that other stuff. With that said, this design here, because it's a floater, there's nothing under it or anything like that, and it has room to freely move, all the weight and everything will be in this pocket here, right? And then your other point of contact will be somewhere up here where this strap is going to be. Even if the tripod does decide to dig into the middle of the backpack, like I mentioned before, the backpack is really thick. The other part that the tripod would have pressure on would be somewhere down here, which is also thick. So having your tripod in the middle here, I don't think is going to affect my gear at all whatsoever versus the other backpacks, which is why I try to find backpacks that you can have the tripod on the side of the backpack versus in the middle of the backpack. But I would rather have it in the middle because that's where it should be. When you walk around, your backpack's not twisted on one side. You notice a lot of people who do backpack reviews, they have the tripod on one side of the backpack, and when they wear it, the backpack is tilting this way because the tripod is so heavy. Now on the side here, you have two zippers in the middle. And you can, this two zippers, you could actually put something straight through this way. You can see my fingers. And that gives you accessibility from each side of this here. It is a bit, stiff inside. So, it was hard for me to put my hand in to begin with, but I guess I did it so often it kind of stretched out a little bit. And that's pretty much it for the middle part, which already is far superior than a lot of other backpacks that I've actually reviewed. Now let's hit the bottom. The bottom has these two clips here that you can use for situations like if you had to move locations with a short distance between one and the other. You can use these clips to secure your gear, because you don't really need that much security for a short distance. I would use the zipper all the time, but if you wanted to. These clips here, you could also utilize this to hold your tripod horizontally. So options, going back to the backpack. Option number one, you can have a tripod here. Option number two, you could have a tripod horizontally. Does that mean you could carry two tripods? Absolutely, I don't see why not. On the bottom of this backpack here, you have this zipper. This zipper gives you access to the bottom compartment here. This bottom compartment has, ample room for lenses, batteries. Even a DSLR camera can fit in here without any issues. At least I don't think it would. And, if you had obviously a 70-200 lens, that might be a little bit more difficult. But, a mirrorless camera with a 24-70, not going to be a problem. Also, the thing I like is up here on the top is completely sealed. So there's no way that anything from the top can get to the bottom. But the back side over here is not 100% sealed. All right, going to the side of the backpack here, we have compartment accessibility zipper. On the side of the backpack, you have this entry accessibility portion here to your gear that's in the middle of the backpack. And in this flap here, you have another compartment here that you can hold little things and what looks like SD cards or whatever you want. On the back side or the outside of this, you also have, well, that's interesting. When I open this zipper, you can access the same thing. So these aren't two different pockets, it's the same pocket, but accessibility from either inside the flap or you can access it from outside the flap. Pretty interesting. Anyway, so this pocket here gives you accessibility to the center of the backpack, which again, if you're in a situation where you can't put your backpack down, but you need accessibility to your gear, you can just sling this backpack around, pull your gear out, and then you're good to go. That is one of the key elements. This is what's needed for me, is to have this accessibility on the side. Now, what you don't want to do is put a tripod on this side because it blocks your accessibility here if you were to use this as your accessibility portion to get to your camera gear. Because you can also, there's a little pocket here, you can also put a tripod on this side and then have it secured up here. That is an option. Again, amazing backpack. And this side is very similar to the other side, with the exception of when you open this pocket, you cannot get to your gear in the main compartment. But this is a pretty big pocket with a little pocket on the inside. It actually goes all the way down here, so there's no stitch in the middle here. It goes on the bottom, so you could actually fit whatever you want in here. There's like a neoprene type material pocket that you can put there. And again, another tripod possibility with the strap on the top to secure it. So you have one here, one here, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. That's 4 areas that you can put a tripod on, which also means technically you could put 4 tripods on here. I don't know why you would, but that's definitely something that you can do if you wanted to. You have somewhat of like a handle here too on the bottom. I don't really know what that's for, but it's there, so I think it's pretty cool. So let's go on the back side of the backpack here. Now the back side has these waist, secure waist straps here. The only bad thing about this backpack is the inability for me to put these away. I can't find anywhere to take it off or put it away or anything like that. I personally don't like these things at all. Now, going to the padding, there's holes in the padding here, and that obviously gives more aeration. A lot of backpacks have this, so a lot of people would probably be used to it, but this seems to be of quality. Over here on the bottom, you have these little dimples that stick out with some sort of mesh on it. Now, I think that out of the whole backpack, these areas are probably the first ones to get worn out. But in any case, there's a mesh over these like little lump things here that offer more aeration. You have a strap here if you want to put it on your your luggage cart. And then you have two more on top here, two more paddings, and which is about 1/2 inch or so off the bottom, which obviously will give you more aeration. So, it's a little bit cooler. Now, on the straps itself, it's similar to the straps down here where you have the big holes here for aeration. And these are very thick. I mean, a lot thicker than say like my Case Logic. So they didn't go cheap on this backpack. They did not go cheap on this backpack. In fact, the walls on this backpack are very thick. You don't want to buy expensive gear and throw it in a plastic bag for protection. You want to protect your investment, so you should get a backpack that will do that. Now, if I threw this backpack off the roof of my house, well, obviously, I expect things to break. But relatively speaking, this compared to the ones that I've already been using should protect it a lot more, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Everything here is, very thick, very rigid too. A lot of backpacks that I've used or tested out were kind of soft. So, they weren't very rigid, which means that they smash and it could, smash your gear. This is really rigid. So, I don't think you could sit on it without it caving in, but it's a lot more rigid than a lot of other backpacks that I've reviewed. All right, so let's get to the top part of the backpack. You have a little handle over here that you can use to carry the backpack, which is fine. A lot of backpacks already have that. But then you have this really thick handle here that's on the cover. Now let's get to the cover. On the top of the cover, you have this zipper. And in this pocket, it's a very thin pocket, but it goes all the way down to about here. And, just to give you an idea of how thin it is, I could probably fit a few DVDs inside. I don't think anybody uses DVDs anymore, but just to give you an idea. And, that's really nice to have if you want to put paperwork or whatever else inside there. And then here's the actual main compartment on the top. Over here, you have another pocket. This bag is full of options. And over here, another pocket for like ID or maybe a microfiber cloth or something like that. And over here, this is the very important part. This part, some backpacks are zippered. So the floor of this part here is zippered, and that prevents anything from this top part, which are normally smaller things, to fall into your middle compartment. So if you had small items like screws or whatever, for whatever reason, and they fall into your main compartment, they could scratch up your expensive gear, and you don't want that. So if you get something like this, which is Velcro and not zipper, you have to make sure that it's sealed well enough that nothing will fall from this compartment down to the bottom. Now, I understand why they use Velcro, so it gives you more options, more accessibility, because you can move this floor, the bottom part of this pocket, more ways down. You obviously lose some space in the mid compartment, but if you don't need it and you rather use the top compartment, then you can actually make this more spacious. But by default, it comes like this, and just to give you an idea, I could probably fit maybe 2 Godox 8200 flashes. Definitely, I can put triggers, batteries, chargers, things like that up here. You could probably put a mirrorless camera with maybe like a 24-70. I don't have mirrorless right now, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely big enough for that, but not as big as a lot of the other backpacks that I've reviewed, but big enough for sure. I also like this backpack because say I want to put it on the ground, but the ground is dirty. I don't want to put the back of the backpack on the ground and then get that dirty and get my back dirty. But I guess I won't care if I'm all sweaty. But this gives you the option to put the backpack on the ground and then access your gear from the back. That accessibility is great. And then you have all this space here where you could probably put 2, DSLTs or 2 A99 Mark IIs with small lenses, like a 24-70 or something. And or you could definitely fit a 70-200, I think, and actually it looks that way. And definitely 2 mirrorless type cameras like a A9 or something like that would definitely fit. Obviously, it depends on the length of your lens. But this is a very spacious bag. And in here, you can put like a laptop or iPad or something of that sort. But other than that, that's a great way to access your equipment if that suited you. Meaning options. Options are always good to have. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And if you didn't like the video, then, you know, sorry. Hopefully I can do better in the next one. And if you want to see more photography related videos, please hit the subscribe button and that little bell. So every time I release a video, obviously you'll get alerted and you'll be able to see what the next video would be. So again, anyways, thanks so much, and hope to see you in the next one. All right, see you later.